Hey there, welcome back to New Start Discipleship. We're in day number 9, all right, day number 9, and this is the story of the arrest and the crucifixion of Jesus. Jesus was mistreated. He was done wrong, and if you've ever been done wrong, you know this feeling, and it gives you a reason to hope. Jesus was done wrong. He understands where you've been. Jesus, in the middle of all this, I want to point something out. Jesus was not in any kind of way a victim being carried along by circumstances. No one was taking Jesus' life from him. He was giving up his life. In fact, he even predicts his own disciples' betrayal. Like he calls it. He knows it's coming. It's almost like he saw all this ahead of time. He knew where this was going, right? So he predicts his own disciples' brokenness. And betrayal. In the first part of the chapter, he takes the Last Supper with his people, with his disciples, and they drink the wine that Jesus said, "This is representing my blood." They eat the bread that Jesus says represents his body. And so it's a powerful, powerful moment. He institutes that, and that's why we still do it to this day in the Christian church. He's arrested. Peter disowns him and denies him, and he goes outside and he weeps bitterly. Now, I want to stop real quickly and say, if you've ever been in a place where you rejected Jesus and you denied him, where you should have stood up for him, and instead you walked away. Instead, you kept your mouth shut. Instead, you went back to the old life. You cursed and swore like Peter did and denied Christ. I just want to tell you, this is a really valuable moment to tell you, that it's not over. Okay? It's not over. If you fail as a Christian, get back up and keep going. It says that Peter went outside and wept bitterly. Like he went outside and he cried and he was sorry. Just feel free to turn back to God and say, "I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I promise you it's going to be okay. Jesus is going to accept you back. He's going to welcome you back with open arms. He's going to walk through you with this." All right. So don't give up. All right. Failure isn't final with the Father. I'm going to say it again. Failure isn't final with the Father. You got to stick with it. All right. You got to stick with it. Notice that Jesus is already in control. He knew it was coming. Peter disowns him, but Peter goes out and makes it right with the Lord. And then Jesus dies. And in his death for us, he takes upon himself the sins of our whole life. Everything we've ever done that was wrong, Jesus takes upon himself. And the just punishment for that sin is poured out upon Jesus. All of the punishment. So there is no punishment left for sin that you have committed that Jesus has forgiven you for. There's none of it. There's no punishment left for it. Jesus has accepted all of that punishment. Isn't that powerful that Jesus would take this all upon himself? When Jesus was on the cross, he was doing what Isaiah chapter 53, which we'll read later in this journey. Isaiah chapter 53 says, "The punishment that brought us peace was laid upon him." Jesus stepped in the way and said, "I know they owe a price for their sin. I'm going to pay it." It's like Jesus, imagine that Jesus is your lawyer, and he steps up to defend you and says, "Your Honor," and then he says, "Father," and you realize, the judge is the father of my lawyer. Would any hope jump and leap up in your heart if you were accused and you were standing justly accused before a court and you found out that the judge was the daddy of your lawyer? Yeah, I think some hope would rise up in my heart. I'd be like, hey, this judge is going to be willing to listen to this guy. It's his boy, right? And so Jesus is your lawyer who steps up and says, "Father, I'm going to pay the price for this guy so he can go free." Wow. He pays the fine. He pays the penalty for us. The power of what Jesus did on the cross, bringing God and man back together again. There could be books, there have been stacks of books written about what Jesus did. It's a powerful story. Read it through Matthew 26 and 27 and just celebrate that in your heart today.